Welcome. This podcast is a series of candid conversations exploring the human experience from a completely new perspective. In it, we will be diving deeply into the meaning of commonly used words and pointing you away from that old stressful way of looking at life and towards a new paradigm. This will help you find a sense of calm, cultivate meaningful relationships, and create harmony in every aspect of your life. Here is Navigating Life with Ease with Michaela, Ellis and Clare, Downham.
Hello.
Hello. How are you, Clare?
I'm good. I don't know why I had two hellos waiting to come out. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Really good. Thank you. And I have a word for you.
Marvelous.
Ready? Validation.
Ooh. That's not a word I've ever really contemplated, but how cool to do that. I mean, I think for a long time I probably wanted a lot of that from other people. And I think probably for me, I think that transferred to being an inner voice at a pretty early age. Because I don't think I've not been too caught up in what other people think about me and trying to get validation from out there. But there was a voice in there the whole time, always telling me that I was not doing enough or working hard enough, or I wasn't far enough on the ladder, or just all of it really. And that drove me, it's 10 years ago this week that I burnt out. That I walked into work, took one look at my computer, walked out, and never went back. Because I couldn't switch it on. I couldn't do what I was supposed to do that day, and never did again because I was utterly shattered. And actually, when I think about the run up to burnout, like I did a lot of online dating. I would say I was a high achieving online dater. Well done me. I should have had a certificate or a gold medal or something, but that wasn't forthcoming. But during the online dating process, I had a lot of anxiety. It's probably the time in my life that I've never experienced a lot of anxiety. I say I go more towards low mood than anxiety, but that period of time I'm anxious all the time because I wanted to be approved of by these random men that I was meeting online. If they didn't message back, I did not feel that I was validated as somebody who was desirable. And at that point, I think I was pretty desperate to find somebody to be with. To the point where it was pretty unhealthy. I mean, I did, wait for this, listeners, I did actually go on 3 dates in one day on more than one occasion. So that's how insane it became. That was a seeking of validation. If I could just get all these men to like me, then I'll be okay. But I think whenever we're trying to get it from the outside, it's just exhausting, isn't it? Absolutely exhausting because, well, first of all, we can't control what other people are going to do or say at all. Second of all, it's got nothing to do with us, what other people do or say. Like that's to do with them. That's to do with their perspective and their thinking and what's going on in their mind and their mood and whether they got out of bed the wrong side or, all of that stuff. And if we're waiting to be validated by other people's random thinking, which is really what we're saying, isn't it? With validation, we're saying, let's just hope that whatever I do lands right in somebody else's head and has them say the words of affirmation of some description that I want to hear, or, the pat on the head. And that's just impossible. And if you're going through life waiting for that to happen, you will, well, first of all, like what happened to me was burnout, because my mind was busy all the time with trying to work out how to get people to like me, men in particular, how to get somebody to go on a date with me, get somebody to reply to a message, all things that were completely outside my control. But we don't see it till we see it, do we? And I would say for me, a lot of that's fallen away now. Like I create, as you know, a lot of content in the world, and yes, I like to get nice reviews, and if somebody likes something, I'll comment, it's lovely. But I put it out because I believe in it, and I put it out because I think it might help people. But I'm not particularly looking for that validation anymore. Which means actually, like when we stop looking for that validation, we're kind of free to go, this is me, and this is what I want to say to the world, and just spout forth, whatever it is. We can be authentic when we're not looking for validation from other people. Interestingly, I just made a course on Insight Timer this week about authenticity, and I missed out actually that piece about validation, about looking for something from somebody else. But it's key, isn't it, to us being able to show up and be ourselves, because we're people pleasing otherwise, aren't we? Or we're trying to people please. I mean, the irony with people pleasing is that we're actually pleasing the voice in our head, which says somebody out there wants something that is nothing to do with what somebody out there actually wants. And, sometimes when you're with somebody who's a bit people pleasing, they do things for validation, and you're like, oh well, I'm not really bothered about that. I don't really care whether you've done it or not, really. And that can feel awful, can't it, as well? So it's it was key in my burnout, no two ways about it, because it was control freakery on acid, which was just impossible. I always call myself a recovering control freak, probably a recovering perfectionist as well. A lot to do with validation in all of that, I think. So let me know why this word and what's coming up for you around it.
Yeah, well, it just came to me, really, the word, in something I was reading this morning, and maybe it was your inner critic book. I'm not sure, because it was already there. There was someone, I'm doing something in on, I'll call it a neighborhood. not a physical neighbor, it's online, but I'm sort of leading a piece of something that we're doing. It's a co-work session, and it's in what I kept seeing it as someone else's home base, and I wanted to get it right. And I had a conversation with him, and he's just like, yeah, there's no need to, like, you don't have to do things like to make it right, to please me. And it's like, and that was so interesting because I never saw it like that. I said, I so get how you see that. And I was just trying to not get it wrong. And it was really about not getting it wrong and getting in trouble. So there was some revealing things that came out of it, and the validation was kind of part of it. Am I doing a good job? Am I doing, is it good? Is it good? Am I doing, like
With the little pat on your head.
Yeah, right? And it's like, dang, it really is. And you said it. You said you don't see it till you see it. And it may be a roundabout way that you see it. He saw it as, was like, he said, you don't have to please. He said, this is the community. This is like the neighborhood. And you're just joining in. There's no getting it wrong. There's nothing like that. So he saw it one way. I felt it a different way. I felt it around this other side of it. But of course, entangled in all of that was me seeking validation, me being okay, being like, yeah, you're good. You're good. You got, okay. Now I can carry on. And it's like, no, it kind of wiped that out. And it had me look at, where else am I seeking validation? But I'm not seeking validation, but I don't want to get in trouble. I'm trying, it's actually protection, validation. It's like, you can't, it's hard, I know we look at one thing at a time, one word, one concept, one idea, but it's tricky to look at just one without seeing the rest, because it's often tangled up in a ball. So I really kind of, it opened me up into seeing how, and I know that no one, like in this idea of even seeking validation, no one sees your relevance or until you see it. When you said that you you have this content, these words that pour out of you on Insight Time or in your YouTube, wherever you show up, Substack, on platforms, it just comes out of you. And the energy from which it's coming out of you is pure. It's, I know this will be helpful, or this is something that was helpful for me and I just want to share it. Whatever. It's not, ooh, I wonder if this will go viral, or, you don't have any of that kind of crap in there. So it's clean and it feels different. Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. That, because that shifted recently, and now creating content feels very different to how it felt. Yeah, just it felt like, well, what's the point? Because it's probably not going to do anything. So then I didn't do it, and and now I'm getting into a nice rhythm with it and everything, because of that whole, it's got to be successful, it's got to make something happen, something else happen, which felt, yeah, like it's got to make other people behave. I've got to have the validation of the likes and the comments and whatever else. And now I really don't care. That is freeing, because it's like, I can just say what's in my heart, and I'm not going, oh, but it's got to have an end. Something's got to happen at the end of that. Somebody's got to validate me in some way.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. That's really cool. So yeah, this is, oftentimes I'll bring things that are still quite alive, that they haven't all settled. I've begun to see something around this. And that the conversation with this person yesterday, it's like, yeah, you don't see it until you see it. That there's something else that's got a grip on me. And it's good girl Michaela, not wanting to get in trouble, not wanting to do it wrong. Frickin' frack, or wanting to do it right, whatever it is. But why? Why does it matter? So it's amazing to me, the tangle underneath, because I had an insight a couple of weeks ago, and it's like, wow, this is going to change everything. And it did, and it didn't. It did, and there was more. There's more. It's like, it's never alone. The root is not often just one deep, it could be one deep root, but often there's like these tendrils that have also made their way out and have a footing. And they they need to be seen too. They do. And I do see that we don't necessarily have to see them all. Sometimes we can just pull out a big root and lots of things will be released. And I think it's both, it brings other things to light. because now the soil is loosened, right? And other things are more easily able to come to the surface. So, yeah, I see it as this, there's this gardening metaphor coming up now around this, where it's like turning the soil kind of thing, not just the surface, like, digging deep and just seeing what is going on. And we may not even know, when you first, it's like, I just know, like when you left your job that day, you maybe didn't have a clear knowing of like, what the heck. All you knew was, okay, I'm done. I'm done with how this is. And I'm not rooting into that anymore. And then you went away, and then there was space for other things to show themselves that you could then take step. You did. The moment is like, I'm done with this. You took a firm stand for your health and your well-being. So yeah, this whole validation, it can show up in so many insidious ways. So it's kind of cool. But understanding, knowing that even if it begins as an intellectual thing, that, right, until I recognize me and I see me and I be me, I'm only going to be putting garbage out there for a purpose, and it's not going to land purely, right? People will feel it. Like this gentleman, and I'm so happy that we have this relationship that he could say, "Hey, you don't try and please me here. This isn't what this was about." And if he wouldn't have said that, I'd still be walking around today with this, eventually I'm sure it would have come out. But with this other thing that I didn't see until he said that, because I knew it wasn't that. But it's this. So, yeah. Anyway, that's where that all came from. And I was just curious what would come out of your mouth and through your wisdom in around validation.
I think I loved the bit when you were talking about the garden metaphor and how deep we need to go. And I think that for me is there's something there around emotionally, how it feels and how, like, I think when we first come into this journey and we're perhaps not in a good place and we're maybe very anxious or we've got lots of low mood stuff or whatever, we don't have an awareness of our body, really, what's going on, and we don't understand that our emotions are letting us know about our state of mind. So we're kind of merrily just distracting, I guess, most of the time and just managing our emotions and being dictated by them and everything. And I think for me, what seems to happen is that then there's a little bit more awareness. But as the mind quietens, the depth there's something physical about really tuning into the body and pausing kind of enough times in the day to go, oh, what is there? Is my body relaxed? Is therefore my mind calm, and have I got clarity? And I think the feelings get a little bit more whispery, that they get quieter because you're not having those great big emotional reactions anymore. So I think that's the only real tool or technique that I really share with people much is the pausing and just checking in, for how we're feeling. Because I strongly, I'm pretty sure that if we're seeking validation in any way, that is going to come with some feeling of discomfort in the body. It's going to feel icky because we're believing that we need it. We're believing that there's something wrong with us. We're believing that we need the other person to say that there's not anything wrong with us, or that we're right in some way. We're forgetting that we are, God or universal intelligence or love or peace or whatever anybody wants to call that. We're forgetting, and when we forget, our body kicks off and says, "What are you doing?" So I think it's key that every so often we do just pause and feel what's going on and use that as guidance, because the mind, we can go just round and round in circles in the mind trying to sort this stuff out, or trying to work out where it's come from, or trying to fix it in some way. The mind thinks it's got the answer to everything, doesn't it? But actually, when we drop below the neck into our bodies, we get much clearer guidance. Even if that's just a nudge to say, you're believing something that isn't true now. You're believing that you need this validation from outside of you to feel okay, and that you've got to do X, Y, and Z in order to get it, which I think is, when you've got no boundaries and there's people pleasing and imposter syndrome, all those things, make us feel that we don't feel good when we're thinking like that about ourselves at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it always comes back to presence, doesn't it? Getting present to what's alive in us, what's speaking to us from within in the moment, and having the chutzpah to like sit with it, to just get curious about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we'll just act being dictated to by those, because we want to get rid of that uncomfortable feeling, and we think that the mind's saying, well, you just have to be validated and then that feeling will go away. Of course, we may get a short bit of relief from that, which is why it perpetuates, because we get these little hits of relief, probably bits of dopamine and stuff, and then we keep doing that again and again.
Yeah. It's really good. Really good awareness.
Great subject, that.
Yeah.
Really good word.
Yeah, very good. Thanks for your insights on that.
Yeah. Thank you. I shall see you again next week.
Till next time, have a lovely one.
Take care. Lots of love.
Yeah.
Bye.
Ciao. Hey, thank you for being a part of Navigating Life with Ease. We'd love to hear your feedback and receive a review on your favorite podcast platform. This will help others who'd also like more ease in their life to find us. We're here to support you, so if you've any words you'd like us to explore, or you have a question, please reach out to us at navigatinglifewithease@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more episodes of Navigating Life with Ease.